like it maintains the quality, so it's really good.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, it's super
Well,
cool.
this is my my partner Mike.
What's up, Mike?
Cool.
Cool. I was just checking out the content, man. I really like it.
Yep.
You guys are part of Adjacent Property Management. Are you the? I'm guessing you guys are the owners.
Yep.
So can you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
So right now we are a project install based company. We don't cut any grass. We all kind of just graduated college, so we usually missed the beginning of the lawn mowing season and stuff like that. So we kind of just found our niche in like landscape install, maintenance, and just other project based work in the landscape field.
Yeah, and then you guys are in Rochester, New York, I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
Cool. What kind of made you want to get into landscaping? I see you also do like gutter cleanup and
Yep.
good stuff. So what?
Yeah, so we during COVID, we all kind of did like our own thing, and then we started picking up like a bunch of side jobs, just doing stuff outside, working with our friends, and eventually it just snowballed like through word of mouth. Started picking up more and more jobs, more and more money, so it just made more sense kind of to transition it into something that could grow and have a name to it.
Yeah, so it kind of started off as a side hustle.
Yep,
A little
for sure.
cool. How long have you guys been kind of in the game for?
So probably like 4 or 5 years. It was a side hustle for like 2 to 3 of those years, and then last year we made it official. Started an LLC, started using insurance and stuff like that, and then this is our first year like really advertising. So we, like you said, the content, we really just got into that for the first time this year. Everything else before that was pretty much just like a word of mouth type of thing, and it grew our clientele huge. And then to continue our growth, we started getting into the social media side of things this year.
Cool. So that whole strategy when it comes to social media, when you're posting, I'm guessing that's your buddy Sean's
Yep.
idea for the
Yep.
post. First of all, by the way, very good video production. Like the
Yep.
quality and all that is just there, man. Honestly, because a lot of landscapers when I see them on social media, a lot of their content is like it's cropped wrong. They
Yeah.
do like templates from wherever. It doesn't look very well, but you guys. It's very professionally made. Do you guys record on your iPhones or do you use your own cameras? I'm guessing.
So right now we started recording only on my phone because I work with them too. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to bring a camera. I have a camera, but it's kind of hard to mulch and have a $3,000 camera with me. So
Fair
right now
enough.
I'm just recording things on my phone, taking it out whenever I can, and getting some content. So
So a lot of people I've seen them record on their phone, but it doesn't really come out like the way it came out for you when I saw it for a lot of your content. Is there some sort of like settings you use, or is there some sort of tricks you can tell us? Even for me, man, like sometimes when I record, it looks like shit. So
yeah. So there's actually settings. If you go in your settings on your phone, click on the camera, and just make sure everything is checked off on the highest resolution.
yeah,
I think that should be like 4K or 1080p on, your slow-mos, your regular videos, and like your time lapses too. I think you could change, but make sure everything is checked off on the highest resolution when you take videos.
okay. So it's just the resolution then.
Yeah,
It's nothing to do with like the lighting or anything like that.
not
Nothing
really,
fancy.
no.
Okay.
You can edit your videos in whatever video editor you want, but I don't really edit the lighting or anything.
Cool. So
Yeah.
what's the strategy like? Is it going to be more of a portfolio for you guys, or are you trying to get, I guess, content or jobs from your content?
Yeah. So we'll mainly focus on growing Instagram first, but then right now we're kind of transitioning over to Facebook since we get kind of more jobs through Facebook.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So like for the most part, like Sean said, we started with Instagram, and like we've got a few videos that are like almost at 400,000 views, and we
Oh,
have
wow.
gotten like 1 or 2 jobs that are on Instagram, like from that. But for the most part, we're switching over to Facebook now, and we're gonna let the Instagram organically grow because we can post between the two together like equally. So
Yeah.
so our Instagram's in a spot where we're getting new followers every day, like so we're trying to grow our Facebook now in the local pages and just kind of make it a place where people can look at our work, see our work, and we can advertise through it.
We're getting a lot of your content, and then you post instead of just posting it, and then because the algorithm is gonna bring you to like it's not gonna just be people in your local area for
Yep.
it's not really like a per se like a lead gen strategy because it's going to be all over the place, but it really works for portfolio. But you guys are saying you go on Facebook groups and then you also post the content there that you end up making.
So what we do is we use the local groups to like post like advertisements. So Sean will also do like flyers. So for example, we have a fall cleanup flyer that we're gonna be pushing out pretty much next week. So what we do is we try and do that and we build engagement on that post. So
Yeah,
we try to have as many people that have worked with us before comment on them to kind of retain it and create activity in it through the group. And
yeah,
then we also use Jobber. So we just are able to put our Jobber link right there, and then when we do that, we put our like obviously put our account out there, and people are able to like, okay, so this is what they're doing in the fall. Let me click on their Facebook, see what they've done, see what they're about, and we kind of build like our Facebook following and generate leads through that.
yeah. So what kind of inspired you guys? Because obviously both of us are pretty young.
Yeah,
Uh, did you what made you guys want to actually start a business on your own instead of kind of maybe working under someone else, or what got you
yeah.
guys to take that
Right,
step that a lot
Jason?
of people make?
Cool. How's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Good. So just to kind of answer the question, um, my family has always been in business. My father is he's a contractor and he's owned stores, etc., stuff like that. So I was prior to college, I was doing small jobs for people, and I helped him out with his business quite a bit, doing like kitchen demos and bathroom demos, etc. So I kind of always knew that was the route that I wanted to take, just because I don't
Yeah,
want to work a 9 to 5 the rest of my life. So
yeah,
and I have another business on top of this as well too. So it's business has always been about in my family and in a background for us as well. So um,
it's amazing.
anything else to say on that?
Yeah, just I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great way to put it. Like, kind of just the freedom of it and stuff like that has been really cool to kind of seeing, and then at the end of the day you grow something that you're proud of, and you're able to kind of like see and look back. One day we'll look back and say, oh wow, like we did that, and that'll be cool. So
Cool. Now, okay, this is a little bit off the record. I'm gonna ask
yeah,
you guys some questions just for some clips that you guys can use as well.
yeah,
Uh, I'm kind of,
yeah,
be a little fabricated here, but I think
yeah.
it's gonna, just to get you guys some content too.
Mhm.
But it's also helped a lot of people out. So I guess one of those questions is, how do you guys make sure that the quality of your work is there and that the client is happy throughout the entire process?
Right. Yeah. So in our field in landscaping, obviously there's lots of landscapers out there. I mean, it's the barrier to entry in landscaping versus other businesses is a lot easier because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
equipment costs are a lot lower, and everyone here owns a yard and has landscaping. So, um, what really separates us between other companies, in my opinion, and how you grow your landscaping business, is through the quality of your work. So, I would say that's a huge focus of ours versus a lot of other businesses. And maybe it's because we're starting off small right now, and a lot of these other companies are bigger and they don't have the time to focus as much on quality. But I would say our quality levels are comparatively better. And the reason we focus so much on that is because, um, in our town, at least in our community, it's very small and there's a lot of landscapers out there. But if you do bad quality work, people tend to hear about it. And when 99% of our business is referral based. So if we do bad work for one person, they tell the next person, and we don't get referrals from that. So I would say that's huge. I mean, if someone calls us and there's something wrong with the job, and even if we have to credit them some amount of money or go back there and fix it, I've done that many, many times for stuff. So, um, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'd rather have the brand recognition be up to a certain level of quality than save 50, $100 or whatever it is, or an hour of my time. So, I
I
would
mean,
say that's the biggest aspect.
amazing answer. And the reason for it is honestly, I always preach it too. Like you going and taking the time, like going back, even if it, costs you money, costs you time, and just going above and beyond for that client is one of the best things, one of the best forms of advertising you do, because the more you can make that person grateful for the work that you've done for them, the more they feel like they got more than they bargained for, more than they paid for, the more they feel like they owe you in a sense. I know that's a terrible way of putting it, but they're
No, I completely agree. So
express their gratitude in one form or
yeah,
another. And a lot of times that just comes in through um, referring you to more jobs down the
yeah.
line.
And a
So
lot of times too, we'll show up at jobs. I mean, even like yesterday we did this. We'll show up at jobs and there'll be little things here and there that so we'll do a large job for people and I noticed that their patio is dirty and there's a little spot over there or one of their gutters is overflowing. I'll just take care of it. I mean, what is
yeah,
it? 30 minutes of my time, 20 minutes of my time. That goes so far for people these days because everything in business is based on money and they feel that other businesses are just out there to grab and take their money. So doing those little extra tiny things, like I said, even if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that goes so far with people nowadays. So I tend to play a game with myself, and when I go to a job, I like to find those little things and
yeah,
just go ahead and do them for people. I don't even ask half of the time. I'll just go ahead and power wash off that little stain on the patio or trim up that bush that's overgrown that they didn't ask me to, just because.
yeah. Did you? Is that some tips and tricks from your father, or did you kind of came up to that conclusion on your own?
I would say my dad definitely does that in his business as well. I mean, if something's bothering, he's very OCD about his work quality. So if
Yeah,
something's bothering him and it's not right, he'll go ahead and just fix it as well too. So,
yeah,
but I mean, that's business 101 is make the customer happy and do whatever you got to do to make them happy.
cool.
So,
So, what is some of the things that you guys have learned that if you were to, I guess, you haven't been in the business too long, but if you were to restart, you would kind of do differently?
Okay. So if we were to restart, I guess in terms of like running the business side first, I would say definitely find a group of people that you can really gel with. Like so, kind of to build on the last question you asked, like how we ensure our quality is always there. One of us, me or Mike, is always there, right?
Yeah,
So we have a great team of guys, and we trust them to do literally everything. Because sometimes we will have to run to the store, run to the yard, get stuff like for the job, pick up more plants, pick up more mulch, whatever it might be. But so when we started, it was just Mike and myself, and now we've got like a group of guys, and honestly, they are like fully capable of doing everything themselves, and it's really cool to see, and I think that's a huge part of it. And
yeah,
then in terms of like how I would have operated the business differently when we started, I would say if you have the money to do it, buy a dump trailer immediately. There are so many different ways you can make money in today's society with a dump trailer. This year we actually purchased our second one. So
oh,
the
congratulations.
growth has kind of been the growth has been there, so it made sense for us. And but yeah, like before we were when we started, we were doing bagged mulch, and it was just kind of a pain, like having to bag all your weeds, having to deal with all the plastic and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it's definitely just facilitated our growth so much. And I think having the right equipment for the job is a huge part of it. Even though anyone can tackle a bagged mulch job, right? Anyone can weed and do these things with bagged mulch, but it's definitely like just so much easier now that we've grown and the growth has facilitated, getting us more equipment and stuff like that.
right. So you said something about having like a really good crew that you guys can trust. I think a lot of like, recently what I've seen is the bottleneck for a lot of contractors is the fact that they can't hire people to take on more of a capacity. So someone that's been in the field for or been in the business for 15, 20 years, they do good work and they have jobs coming in. Right now, those people, it's not really to do with leads or getting the jobs. It's a lot to do with the amount of capacity that they can take on. So how were you guys able to find those people that you guys can trust to do good work, especially since your city's so small.
Yeah, so we graduated high school in 2020, and everyone that we work with is actually our age or 1 year younger. So we all for three of us, just graduated school. Mike does commercial real estate now, and then one of our guys is my neighbor, and he's a year younger than us. So it's honestly like the relationships we had before this, and we're just able to really tell like who's going to be helpful to us. And so Sean, he's our social media guy. He also is part of our crew, so it's really cool, and it kind of enables the content even more because he's always there, right? So
Yeah.
he's always thinking. We're always giving him ideas, bouncing ideas off each other of like how can we create content. And then like I said before, just the ability to really see what a person's made of. Everyone on our team is great. They work hard, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
No, that's amazing. So what would you say your guys' bottleneck is? Is it more you guys need more jobs lined up, or would you say it's more uh you don't have enough employees to be able to take on more jobs?
So I would say kind of going back to what I said previously, it's fairly easy to break into our industry and to start one of our like a landscaping business or a small base service business. But what really separates people, I think nowadays, is not starting that business but scaling that business. So that's kind of where our main focus is now. As far as scaling our business goes, there's a couple different routes that we're looking at taking. It's first one would be offering different services. So, as Joe said, breaking into mowing, junk removal, various other things that kind of fall under the landscaping, property maintenance umbrella, but focusing more on those rather than landscaping because we already have the client base for landscaping. If we want to expand, we need a new client base.
That's
So,
more like horizontal. You kind of want to
yeah,
expand on things. Okay.
exactly. So I would say that's one thing is offering different services as to how we can scale that business. Another thing, as kind of relating back to the question that you asked, would be finding people that we can trust and bring in to help us scale this business, so we can kind of take a step back or focus on growing it rather than running it.
Yeah.
So bringing someone in and buying them their own truck or dedicating their own truck and trailer to them and giving them a crew so we can go off and run another crew. Or we can focus on marketing and making sure job quality is there and various other things.
Yeah. So I think it was like two days ago. I was doing another one of these podcasts with his name's Patrick, and he's been doing it a little bit longer. And one of the things that he was telling me, he was saying how if he had to do it, I asked him the same question. I was like, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? And one of the things he said is he said instead of offering so many different services and then getting the supplies for this job, for that job, and then
Yeah.
a bunch of unused things, and then spending all that money, he said he would actually have specialized and then promoted one service over everything else. And he said he would do hardscapes. That's also like he's been doing it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's one of the things he said. So I was wondering what you thought of that, or
Yeah. So obviously hardscapes is like something everyone wants to get into. Profit margins are higher. It's a very routine, right? When you get there, base rock, sand, pavers, like, all that. Very, very like I guess straight line work in some cases. But so we're kind of at a point where we are just found our niche, right? So it's mulching.
yeah,
So in order to grow our project based work on the mulching trimming side of things, we are exploring the mowing purely to expand that, right? We don't need the mowing work. We don't need the extra money from mowing. What we're looking to do is expand our client base. So that way when a client needs mulch and we're there, we say, hey, like, just so you know, we also do mulch, we also do trimming, we can also weed for you. So that's kind
yeah.
of our goal with getting into the mowing side of things.
Oh, that's actually smart. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of more of like a foot in the door technique. And it's
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and like we said, around here it's a very small town, so it's word of mouth, right? So you do good work, you cut someone's grass, you're respectful to them, and that's honestly like what people are looking for. You show up on time, show up when you say you're gonna be there, and just go from there, and the work will come. So it's really just getting more feet in the door with more customers for mowing and kind of expanding our services that way.
cool.
And
That's
then the junk tad on top of that, actually, the junk removal side of things, around here, our winters are kind of iffy. So it snows a lot. It snows a lot. It
yeah,
snows a few times, but it's just really debilitating for like the landscaping side of things, right? So we have always
yeah.
been college students, so we've never plowed, And honestly, that's not at this point. It's probably not anything we're looking to get into. Probably just focus on some other businesses during the wintertime. But junk removal is a great avenue or avenue to kind of keep the revenue flowing and kind of just build more relations with customers during the winter.
Cool. Yeah, that's I mean I'm from Canada, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, snow's
yeah.
yeah. Well, that's amazing. I think you guys definitely are on the right direction. I think a lot of young guys a little bit are stepping away from just the trades. Um, but you guys really leaned into it, and I think there's a lot of money to be made there.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
There's
what
so much money
Yeah.
if you know where to find it.
Yep.
So I
yeah,
think one thing, just to kind of like go off of what you were just saying there, is especially with the trades nowadays,
yeah,
is there's a lot of low quality companies. There's a lot of companies, and same thing. Going back to my previous statement on the question that you asked me is, there's a lot of companies out there that do the work, and they're good at the actual work, but when it comes to running the business and the little things that go into running the business, they're terrible at. And that's really, I think, what separates a good business versus a bad business is it's the stupid little things. I mean, half of the time if I answered the phone the first time around and I show up to do the quote, we get the job. Just because there's so many people that'll schedule quotes with people and they don't show up or they don't pick up the phone and you got to call them
oh, dude,
back, and those
yeah,
little tiny things are so huge nowadays just because people don't do them. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy. I'll have clients that I'll answer the phone or I'll show up for a quote and they go, "Wow, you're here." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm here. That's my job. I'm trying to make money and trying to provide you with a service." So it's the little things nowadays I think that really
the
separate a
bar
good
is
business from a
so
bad
low.
business.
Like sometimes the bar is just it's crazy to me how low it is when it comes
Exactly.
to that.
Yeah.
It's I've the amount of even like some of my clients are even guilty of it. Like just scheduling a quote and then we go on their account and we see like the homeowner being like, "Why did you not show up? This and that." And he's,
Yes.
"Oh, like I forgot. It was on my calendar." Like
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm just like, dude, like what's the point of that, right? It's just it
Yeah.
brings your own reputation down,
I
right?
mean, sales 101. If people like you, they're going to use you at the end of the day. So the first thing that I do as soon as I get to a quote is I don't talk about business at all or what they want done. Is I just sit there and build rapport for like 5-10 minutes and ask them, when did you move into the house? I have like a list of questions in the back of my head usually. How long have you lived in the house? I'll find something in their driveway, their car or something, and start talking to them about it. Just stupid little things, but if people like you, they're gonna use you. So, and
Yeah.
usually no matter what the price is, that seems to be the case. So
Yeah. The younger guys seem to have the sales process down a lot more than some of the older people. Like when we onboard someone and then they start doing it and if they're younger, we always know they're gonna kill it a lot more than if they're on the older side of things. Like it's more of an indicator. I don't know what it is, but they tend to do a lot better. Um,
yeah,
especially in sales. So you guys have
yeah.
that for you.
So all right.
Cool. All right. Um, I think that should be good. I don't know if I
Cool.
missed any questions. Yeah, I think it should be good. Do you guys want me to ask you guys anything for any clips? I'm gonna edit it all down and send it over to you anyways. So
I think we're good. I think we got
Any
some
other
good stuff out of this.
I think I'm
cool.
all set. I actually have one.
Oh, Sean has a question.
Um, so how did you did you see adjacent because of our content online because of the quality of the content, or were you just searching online and just saw us randomly and
Uh,
just clicked on us and asked us?
I have a DM setter on my team
Gotcha.
that goes through a bunch of accounts and then checks out the ones that have some sort of social media strategy that's even slightly viable that isn't like 240p content and then
Gotcha.
messages them and then gets them on here because usually people that actually have a social media strategy, they want to sit down on a podcast, they want to have these clips because they can post it on their own page and then it's just like them. What's a better opportunity to talk about the quality of your work than someone asking you about the quality of your work,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So yeah, so it works out a lot. But yeah, that's
Sweet.
essentially. But you guys, honestly, dude, like the social media strategy, like dude, leagues above these other people. I'm telling you this as someone, bro. I've seen the shit they do. It's fucking dog shit. Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing,
Yeah.
right? So it's like being there, creating that portfolio and all that is putting you guys steps ahead. Now, the whole thing is if you guys are on a content strategy, you're gonna really help when it comes to word of mouth. You're gonna be taken more seriously when you go to give the quote, and it acts as a portfolio, right? Which is why it's always like more than views, you focus on the quality and showing off what you guys are doing.
Exactly.
Now, you can get those followers and you can, build up your page. But I've talked, I mean, landscapers always follow each other. Do you know PJ Landscaping?
Yeah, we've heard the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that guy, like, I hopped on a call with him and he was talking about the same thing. I'm just like, okay, so how much does because he has like 30K followers, right? And it's all like his face, all organic. And I'm like, okay, so you hopped on, let's call it, do you get your jobs from your organic content? He's like, honestly, man, like, nah. Like, I don't think he said I think I got like 1 or 2 jobs or something like that. He said very little jobs. Like that's not part of his social media strategy at all.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
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 That is.
We've gotten probably at least 8 or 9 jobs from social media this year.
Just from your social media?
Yeah.
The thing is, what I'm focusing on with adjacent, if you post like one post a day, it keeps adjacent top of mind. People are always seeing your content. People are always like, oh, adjacent posts this, adjacent post that. And
Yeah.
then compared to other companies, you don't really see this content coming out. So when it comes to a point where somebody does need landscaping done, weeding, mulching done, adjacent is top of mind because they're seeing content every single day. So it's word of mouth. So they'll tell that person like, oh, use adjacent, I've been seeing them, they do good work, and then we'll probably get a call compared to these other companies
Even if
too.
it's just our parents like liking and engaging with our stuff, I feel like that's even gotten us like some leads.
Yeah,
Like,
anything counts.
Just from like the pure engagement side of things, like Facebook is really good at showing you what other people are into, and some of my mom's distant friends that she hasn't talked to in years have come around and asked for a quote this year. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think PJ, a lot of his content is also he's more of like a landscape influencer. Like he doesn't make a lot of the content around his work. It might be another reason. So you guys said it's a pretty tight knit community. Does your content get pushed out to your local community? Do you know that? Or
Yeah, it was funny. I think Mike said this the other day. What were you shopping in a grocery store or something like that? He was shopping in a grocery store and someone come up to him and like, yay, I love the content. Like the content's
no
great.
way.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's
Which is,
so cool.
yeah, which is pretty funny. So yeah, more people in this small community are noticing our content, which is pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, usually what I usually advise is like social media, like content, portfolio, running Facebook ads, Instagram ads is for leads. But it seems like, if you guys are posting this and you're also doing the strategy with the group, but when you do post, is it like they come into your DMs and they're like, hey man, I just saw this?
Yeah, it's usually through DMs, yeah. Mostly on
Our jobber link gets a lot too, yeah.
There's a link on our Instagram profile that people click on to get some jobs. So
Cool.
yeah.
You guys are making me want to tell people to start doing that now.
There you go. There you go.
Crazy. No, but usually I have seen it. I mean, the quality of the content is nowhere near you guys, and it's also because, like, dude, the barrier to entry for a old guy to go on their Instagram and record and post a high quality video is just so high.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
You guys definitely have that going for you, though.
Thank you. Thank you.